What's up everyone, I'm Tim and this is my channel 40 Times Around, where we talk about everything related to motorcycles, camping, traveling, and adventure. Today we're going to talk about endurance riding and specifically the Iron Butt Association and what's involved in it. So stick around. Okay, so before we jump into this, I want to give a big thank you to Bob the camera guy, who also happens to be my patron. He actually gave me this great question for the monthly Q&A on Patreon. He was asking me how I went about doing my Iron Butt ride, if I prepared for it, and what exactly was involved in the process. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. I think it's a great topic. I wanted to do a full video on it rather than just answer it in the monthly Q&A. So let's jump right into that. Okay, first off, I'm not a spokesperson for the Iron Butt Association. I'm just going to talk about my experience and what I kind of know about the organization. For more information, you can check out their website, which is www.ironbutt.com. So you may be wondering, Tim, what is the Iron Butt Association? The I.B.A. is an organization dedicated to endurance motorcycle riding. This is a little different than just long-distance riding because there are time restraints involved in their challenges. The association is available for anyone who wants to join, and there's no annual fees, just an initial sort of setup fee that's pretty small anyway. But the only way to get in is to ride one of their rides and submit the proper paperwork to prove the ride was successfully completed within the allotted time. Now the easiest one, which I'm using that term pretty lightly, but their easiest challenge to complete for entry is the Saddle Sore 1000 ride. This means riding 1,000 miles in less than 24 hours. And I have a lot of respect for anyone that can complete this because not only is it a challenge of riding skills, but also organizing and pre-planning the ride, maintaining a ride log and all receipts, and it's a massive test in time management. I don't know what part seems worse or more impressive, riding for 24 hours or only having 24 hours to complete the ride. Now this challenge is totally doable. It just requires some commitment and a good amount of effort, but really anyone can do it that puts their mind to it, so don't be deterred. But it's definitely not a challenge to take on lightly. And of course, there are more challenging rides to tackle once you've done the Saddle Sore. I personally recommend that anyone who wants to try one of their rides starts with the Saddle Sore to at least see how the paperwork and all of the logistical aspects work before taking on any of the larger challenges. Now they also have yearly rallies, and you can get into their Elite Premier membership, which I have no experience with either of these, so I'm really not going to get into that, but those are things that are available if that's something you're interested in. Again, you can check their website for more information on that. A few of their other rides available include the Bun Burner 1500, which is riding 1,500 miles in less than 36 hours. And the next one that I actually really want to do is the 50cc Quest, which requires riding from either the Atlantic to the Pacific or in reverse in less than 50 hours. And the next one I want to do after that is actually the 48 states in 10 days. And they have a ton more to choose from other than that. Like I said, they get pretty intense pretty quickly. So you may be wondering, why the heck would I want to sit on my motorcycle for 24 hours straight? Doesn't that kind of suck? Well, that's a really great question too. The short answer is glory. The long answer is glory and a really neat license plate backer for your motorcycle that says Iron Butt Association, World's Toughest Riders, and a pin. Oh, and also a certificate that explains where your ride took place and what motorcycle you completed the ride on. But really, for me, I think it's more of a personal challenge to test your mettle and see what you're made of, to tackle the next big challenge, and when that one is done, tackle the next bigger one. There's definitely a sense of accomplishment involved. It's something anyone should be proud of completing. It becomes a game for me too, while actually doing the ride, to beat the clock, but not by riding faster, rather by riding more efficiently. In other words, gas station breaks, they're quick. You're in and out, drink some water, hit the bathroom real quick, finish eating whatever your snack is while you're taking off on the bike. But something else I have found that happens to me on really long, like really long rides is that I get into a completely different headspace, and it's really great for clearing your mind and meditating on just life in general. Don't get me wrong, this is something that can be attained on shorter rides too, but on longer rides you can really settle into that mental speed of thought where time kind of slips away and it seems like you have forever to mull something over. Maybe I have a problem that needs solving, or maybe a big life decision that needs to be made, or maybe I just need to pause and reflect on my life and where I'm headed and where I am. Now, of course, there are other ways to accomplish this, but for me, sitting on a bike for 24 or even 36 hours, riding more than 1,000 miles in one chunk, allows me to get really, really deep in thought in a great way that can be incredibly productive and positive. It's just a very visceral experience. But mostly I just wanted the plate backer for my bike because it just looks so cool. But Tim, how does it work? What's the process involved? Another awesome question. Thanks for asking. This is one of my favorite aspects of the I.B.A, their process of proving a ride. It makes it feel so much better and more authentic to know that this isn't something that can be cheated. Anyone who has that plate backer or their certificate likely really did the ride they say they did. It's actually more work to cheat than it is to just do the ride. I think this is an excellent aspect that they really got on point with their association. But to further that point, there is a heavy focus on safety, and so saving time must come from rest stops rather than from between point A and point B or B to C. They look at things like that to determine your rate of travel, your speed, and if it's over the speed limit, then you're basically cheating and they'll likely disqualify you. This is another great feature in my opinion. Now this could be a very dangerous task, but they do so much to make sure that it isn't dangerous, and if it is, then it isn't an I.B.A ride. That's really cool in my opinion. So briefly, the process goes like this for the saddle sort, or I guess the other rides too, but this is the one I have the most experience with. Again, check their website for more details on this stuff. So you'll get a start witness that will be contacted later for verification that you really left when you say you did. This can be a gas station attendant or someone you know. Just make sure they're reliable and will actually answer the phone when the I.B.A calls. So you're going to get fuel and you get a receipt with a timestamp on it. This is your starting time and your location. Make sure it has the address on the receipt of the gas station. Now you're basically just going to ride, preferably in a straight line. Anytime you get gas, get a receipt and log the date, time, including the time zone, the location, and your odometer reading. I actually made a note of what I did at each stop too. In other words, gas, rest and food, gas, etc. I also numbered my receipts to make it easier to submit my paperwork later. My log looks like this. Also, anytime you turn or head in a different direction, you need to get gas to prove that you didn't cut any corners. I'm pretty sure that if you're doing 500 miles out, 500 miles back, you need a witness from the turnaround point as well. You don't need a witness at each turn though. I think they kind of prefer that you don't just go in a repetitive circle around your house for 24 hours and call it good. It's easier to prove in a straight line, but you can do a loop too. Just make sure to get receipts for everything. Now you're also going to need a witness for the end of your ride and also one last receipt. Make sure you keep all your receipts and that they all have addresses of the gas stations too. So once you have all of that, you just kind of organize everything. It doesn't hurt to put together a map of your ride too, just to send in with everything. And make sure to keep in mind that they go based on Google Maps. In other words, the shortest route from A to B between your gas stations. So make sure you keep that in mind, that you're not going off your motorcycle's odometer, you're going off Google Maps. You also might want to throw a few extra miles on there at the end before that last gas stop just to be safe. Again, don't go by your motorcycle's odometer, as this is inaccurate at best. So you're going to fill in some paperwork, like I said, just kind of detailing your ride. You'll send in your ride log with all your receipts, copies of them actually. They don't want the originals, they want you to keep those in case it gets lost in the mail. And also your witness forms too. While you're at it, send in a map of your route and an explanation of any problems you encountered that may have caused a lapse in the paper trail. In other words, it could be something like, at this gas station, I couldn't get a receipt because their printer was broken. And then, I had the gas attendant sign his name saying that I was really there at this time. This is his phone number to call and verify. Things like that. You're also going to fill out how you want your certification to look, and this is mine. So there's actually a lot of other similar events and groups if you're into things like endurance riding contests. Like I said, the I.B.A has rallies and events too. This is just, this video is really just about how to do your own I.B.A ride on your own schedule. There's also things like the Hoka Hey Motorcycle Challenge, which I'm actually extremely interested in learning more about. Long Distance Riders is another website that offers similar challenges to the I.B.A. And their logo is actually pretty cool, so I may have to do another 1,024 just to get one of their stickers. And there are a lot of other organizations to look into as well. This is like a whole nother world of motorcycling that you can dive into if you want. So I've done a few attempts on an iron butt ride, and actually it took me a few tries and a little bit of building up and working up to it to actually get my certification. Basically, my first attempt, I rode from Phoenix to Yellowstone, and I did it in about 23 hours, but I didn't log the miles. And then I decided to just see how far I could go. So I ended up doing about 1,300 miles, and it took me about 36 hours of just riding. but like I said, I didn't log the miles on that one. The actual successful one happened at the tail end of a big motorcycle trip, so my butt was pretty broken in at that point. You know, I was used to sitting on the bike for 16, 17 hours a day. A few times on that trip, I'll actually ride 24 hours straight. Just, I don't know, I'm a little bit crazy like that. So when I got to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I knew I had to get to Roswell, I was heading home. Roswell was my next stop, and it was roughly 1,000 miles. So I figured, let me go ahead and log these miles and get this done. And so I got up, I kind of spent the day in Baton Rouge, took a little nap at the end of the day, and then I left at about 7 o'clock at night, I think, and pretty much just drove straight through. I pulled over a few times to take naps on the bike. Make sure that you're being careful about this and being safe. You know, if you need to pull over and sleep, pull over at a rest stop, take a nap, whatever, drink a lot of water, and just make sure you're being really safe about it. Now, it's important, you know, give yourself a few tries. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to get this done on the first attempt. I can actually put together a video if you guys want, just some kind of long distance endurance riding tips, just to give you guys some help if you are gonna attempt a ride like this. So if you wanna see that, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to put that together for you. So that's kind of what I know about the Iron Butt Association. And thanks again to my patron and camera guy Bob for asking me about that. Just remember, if you're going to attempt one of these rides, please, please, please be safe about it. It took me a few tries, like I said, and I had to work up to it. Just be safe. Don't be afraid to back down if it gets too much. And just give yourself the chance to live to try again another day. Don't let your pride get you killed, because riding a motorcycle is dangerous, but riding when you're overtired or pushing past your safe limits is just asking for it. Anyways, that's it. That's everything I know about the Iron Butt Association. I hope you guys get something out of this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys want to see more videos about motorcycles, camping, traveling, and adventure. Don't forget to hit the little bell. That way you guys get notifications whenever I post something new. Question of the day: have you done any endurance motorcycle challenges, and what are your thoughts about them? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you soon.